So let's start by talking about crucial difference we need to understand in English. Pronunciation and accent are two different things. And we don't hear people talking about this much. To be honest, I don't know why. But the main difference between these two things are accent shouldn't affect comprehension. Pronunciation, on the other hand, does. So let me explain in a little bit more detail what I'm talking about. So for example, accent is something that we bring from our mother tongue. So it's something that's transferred from our mother tongue into the second language we are learning, okay? So for example, as a Portuguese speaker, people would generally say honest or confidence, whereas a native speaker would say honest or confidence, right? So you see the difference between confidence and confidence and honest and honest. So there's a bit of a difference in intonation. Another good example is the word exactly. I hear a lot of people saying exactly. So the correct way is exactly. However, these things don't affect comprehension. People will still understand you if you say honest or confidence or exactly. They know what you mean, right? However, pronunciation is a different game. That's where comprehension is affected if we mispronounce certain sounds. I'll give you a classic example. Preposition on and the word own, right? On, own. So I observe sometimes people fail to make the sound of two vowels and they say the word own. And own is not the only one. I also hear that in the word phone. I hear sometimes people saying phone or zone, bone. So we need O plus U when we make that sound. Because if I say on or own, those are two different words. So that will definitely cause confusion. Another good example is ladder. Ladder. We climb up a ladder or leather. Leather. I am wearing a leather jacket. Two different things. Another good example. Theme and team. So theme is like, what's the party theme? Oh, the party is gonna be a basketball theme. Or team. We're playing with the basketball team from the other city. Okay, so those things, those affect comprehension. And this is what we need to understand. It's okay to have an accent, okay? Most people do. I have an accent. You can clearly see that in words such as to, preposition to, which is a very short word and you think it's super easy to pronounce, right? But a native speaker would say to rather than to, right? And as a Portuguese speaker, I sometimes still say to, even though I know the correct way is to. It's a language vice I have, but I work on it, okay? And I acknowledge it. But anyways, and that doesn't make my English bad or anything. I still know my English is good, but I observe these differences. So this is why it's so important for us to really be aware of the difference in sounds and pay attention to the way that people speak, right? So, but going back to accent versus pronunciation, there's nothing to be ashamed of regarding your accent. You need to work on your pronunciation, and they are different things. So we have established that now, right? So in saying that, we always carry with us certain mannerisms, certain shapes from our mother tongue. For example, in Portuguese, we say words like when we have the letter T in a word, we don't say T, we say T, right? T or tanto or também, right? Now in English, we don't say that T like that. T is T, as in talk or team. It's almost like a T plus H, but not TH, not the, just talk. Team or tourist. Wow, sometimes I just blank like that in the middle of my videos. Anyways, so those differences we carry, and the thing is that when we start learning a language, we don't learn much about pronunciation. And why? Why is that? The pronunciation is something that's only addressed much later in our learning journey. It's simply because pronunciation and fluency, they do not walk hand in hand. They don't go together. As a teacher, I know that from experience, that if you correct a student when they're trying to develop fluency, when they're trying to put their sentences together and convey their message and express their ideas in English, if you start correcting pronunciation, that student starts feeling more and more insecure, self-conscious, and ashamed of speaking because you keep pointing out the mistakes. So this is why pronunciation is not addressed in English school most of the time. Some schools and some levels it is addressed, but never excessively. In my decade of teaching English at a university, pronunciation was never really something emphasized or given a lot of attention to, because fluency and pronunciation don't go in the same direction. They kind of, like you need to be ready to take that criticism when it comes to the point where you're going to actually improve your pronunciation, unless you learn properly and correctly from the very beginning, which is ideal. But it's also very challenging to do that. I personally didn't go that way. I first got my fluency, and then I expanded my vocabulary, and only then I started working on my pronunciation. So when I could clearly communicate my ideas and I had a good range of words, then I said, okay, now I'm gonna improve my pronunciation. And how did I do that? By asking for feedback all the time, and also by watching movies, videos, or listening to music on the radio. Back then there was no such thing as podcasts. I learned English a good 16 years ago. But basically, you do that through observing the way that other people speak, right? If you pay attention. I get asked a lot, like, how do I do to improve my pronunciation? And basically, if you live in an English-speaking country, you're exposed to the language all day long, 24/7, right? You could be watching the news and paying attention to the way that the presenter is pronouncing the words. You could be watching a movie on Netflix and paying attention to the way that the actor is pronouncing his words, or you could be watching this video right now and paying attention to the way I'm pronouncing the words, right? And the thing is, the first thing we need to do is learn how to identify our own pronunciation shortcomings. And how do we do that? That's something I'm gonna teach you on the next video.